when I turned 15, I asked my parents for a guitar for Christmas, and it was kind of funny. They thought I was, it was just something else. I was going to collect dust in my bedroom or
Okay.
something. But I was serious about it, man. I wanted to learn
Yeah.
how to play,
Yeah.
because I knew like I need something. I need an instrument, I just all these guys are playing it. That's how you get your start. You got to learn. So
How's it going, guys? Welcome back to the UKnowAdamTsang podcast, where you get to know a little bit more about people, passions, and all things business. Today, I'm joined by Nashville recording artist Clayton Hackle, who has just released the single "Georgia Calls Me Home." Clayton, welcome to the show.
dude, thanks for having me, man.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Clayton, the first thing I want to just start this off where my mind is going. This is actually not the first time we've met. This is the second conversation that we've ever had. But what stands out to me is really kind of like the first conversation that we did have. What do you
Yeah,
remember
dude.
about that day?
Oh man, we were over at Eagle Creek Brewery having a rehearsal for a show, and it was kind of before I really started jumping into music hard. It was a few years ago. But man, I just remember, that night we just got done rehearsing. You kind of came in the room, and I didn't really know who you were, but you asked me some questions that kind of really made me rethink, my goals, my ambitions, and ultimately my career. So it was
That's
cool.
awesome.
Yeah,
I remember that too.
yeah,
I was coming to the brewery to record Beer 30. I don't know if you
yeah,
how familiar you were with that.
yeah. Not that familiar, but I did watch a video or two.
Thank you.
Yeah,
So that was kind of like a project that me and Zach Brenner, the
yeah,
head brewer
dude.
over
I
there,
love that dude. He's
yeah, I love
awesome.
him. We were putting together, and I walked in and I saw you, and I didn't see any like musical equipment out, but I was just
Yeah,
like, hey, who's this guy? Let me kind of figure this out. And you said that, hey, I do music, and I was like,
yeah,
all right, man. And something about that night, I guess, led me to kind of like really dig deep, right? And I
yeah,
actually get into these conversations pretty frequently about what is your
yeah,
dreams, what are your goals, what do you hope to achieve.
yeah,
And I would just remember, like, I have a picture on my Instagram of
yeah,
us that night and
yeah.
saying, like, oh man, this is a great kind of like starter. So take me through what happened after that conversation.
Oh man, I don't even remember what show we were rehearsing for that night, but my mind was kind of focused on music at the time. But you kind of came in and we talked, and you kind of just drove me to a deeper thought process, man. Like, what am I doing? Where is this going? What are my long term goals with music? And ever since that night, it just kind of stuck with me. And the next several days, kind of thought about it, and ultimately, it took a little while, but here we are, and it kind of got me to where I am. So it was just a good launching pad. Yeah.
That's right. And I remember even in that conversation, I was
Yep.
I don't really tiptoe around things. I kind of like ask questions, and I remember
You're very
you
bold.
I remember you looked at me and you were like, I can't believe that guy just asked that, right?
Yeah. I'm
Like
like, who's this guy?
yeah, I know. Who's this random like guy that just came through? But
Yeah.
I think those conversations are really important, and I'm
Yeah.
glad that it had, however big of an impact. I'm
Yeah.
glad that that conversation did happen.
Yeah, dude.
So tell me about kind of like what you're doing now. So obviously you are recording. Are you working on an album right now? What's going on?
Yeah. So we just released my first single in a while. It's been about a year since I put any music out, and that was my debut release. But now I've got this new single out, Georgia Calls Me Home. My thought process now is, I've been writing a lot of music during the pandemic and everything, and I'd love to record a larger collection. I haven't really exactly decided when that's going to take place, but I've got a lot of material that we're working on, and I do want to release like a 5-track EP or so.
That's
So
awesome.
that's my plan.
Where does your inspiration come from?
Yeah, dude. So literally anywhere, man. With this, with Georgia Calls Me Home. Obviously, it's a song about where I'm from. My experience living in this place, and it's more of a take. Not so much about the place, but how this area, this place that I'm from, like, what is that relationship like between a physical place and a person that has a soul and a spirit? How
Mm.
does that relationship look like? What does it feel like? And when there was one morning, I was on my way to work. I was driving, and sun was rising over our property. out in Candler County, and it just kind of hit me with a lot of different emotional feels, and just seeing how the landscape kind of, uh, I don't know, shined into my heart. It kind of gave me this emotional experience where I really felt emotional connection with this place, and I'm like, that's my next song. Like, I want to write about this. I don't know how it's going to look. I don't know how it's going to turn out, but that's my next goal, and it worked out great. So I don't know, man. It's just inspiration comes from all different forms and places, and it's to me, it's never the same. It's never one thing. It's always something that's going on in your life. Maybe somebody says something to you, or something significant happens in your life, or maybe you hear a phrase that's kind of catchy or cool, and then you just start brewing on it. So that's kind of where it comes from me.
It sounds like, what you do is you try to capture emotions in your
Yes.
music, right?
Yeah.
And so every single song that you're putting out is really
Yeah.
about something that you're feeling.
Yeah. So this song in particular, man, I'd wanted to write a song like this for a long time. I just didn't know, how I wanted to do it. There's a trillion different ways you can approach songwriting, and to me, I just want to find the one thing that does it the best for that song. And when I got the idea for Georgia Calls Me Home, it was just a really cool, I guess, viewpoint, I guess, or a premise or whatever. I don't know how you want to say that, but when the idea came to me, I just literally sat down. I think I wrote a few lines one night and kind of let it marinate, and then the next day it just kind of hit home, and it unfolded really great, dude. Songwriting is it's a deep thing. It takes a lot of time to get good at it, and I definitely don't call myself an expert by any means, but I'm a student, and I'm always trying to learn and get better at figuring out how to portray emotions and who I am as an artist into a song. That's kind of like the golden key, I guess you could say.
That's right.
Yeah.
So tell me about Nashville. How what has that experience been like?
Oh man. So up until, this year I'd never been there. I'd always, read about it, watched videos and submersed myself in the culture of Nashville before I ever got there. And then, COVID-19 came and obviously put a different spin on the city, but we traveled up there after I, had some material I wanted to get recorded. We traveled up there and it was wild, dude. Like I love country music, so obviously it's like the number one place to be if you have a passion for country music. But Nashville, it was the experience that I went to, for the first time. It was kind of weird because there was nobody there. I went down Broadway, and because of the pandemic, I mean, it was like a ghost town. It was really weird. It's like a set of a movie or something where it's deserted. It's like, Walking Dead or something came through and there's nobody there. Also, there was a lot of protests and stuff going on, and
Sure.
a lot of busted up windows.
Wow.
Kind of,
Not
it's just
the
a
best
weird
experience
yeah.
going into Nashville,
Well,
I guess.
I will
right?
say, dude, I will say this, man. It had a lot of downside, but also had a lot of good things because I got to go see a lot of the, a lot of like the Ryman Auditorium and all these, different like landmarks of Nashville without having to wait in lines. I went up, just walking down the streets, dude, and looking. The signs are all lit up. It's like you expect a ton of people to be there, but obviously there wasn't. And I just, I had a field day, dude. It was fun. A good first experience for sure. Not one that I ever expected to happen, but it turned out pretty cool. So,
Well, being able to, see the silver lining on every
Yeah.
cloud, I think is very important.
dude, yeah,
right?
especially I think it's so important to stay optimistic, man. You always got to look at the good side of things because it doesn't take long if you don't do that to kind of get down, and it gets rough that way. But I prefer to look at things from definitely the positive side and to focus on the things that are going to make me better and improve my life. I prefer to do it that way. So,
That's right.
Yeah.
So let's talk about something else. Let's go down. If somebody out there has kind of interest in recording music,
Yeah.
what does that look like? Do you just drive to Nashville and just walk into a studio? Like, do you book studio time? Like, how does that entire process work?
Yeah. Well, I think it depends on where you stand. What is your ambition? What is your goal? Do you want to record professionally, or are you doing it as a hobby? Is it just for fun, or are you actually trying to get radio play? Are you trying to chart? What does that look like for you? I think you have to make that decision first and foremost before you can kind of take the next step. But For me, I knew where I was. Especially we had our conversation. A couple years later, I'd kind of like I took a path that led me to where I am now because
Mm-hmm.
mentally it took me a while to get there, but after I kind of lived life and figured things out, I'm like, okay, this is my goal. I want to go to Nashville. I want to record country music, and I want to do it my way. This is my style.
Sure.
And for me, I did a lot of research, like of finding the right producer for that style and that taste of country music. But for anybody, I mean, that's a really broad question to answer, but you follow your gut, you follow your heart. I do a lot of praying, and
Mm.
you network with people that are already doing it. That's kind of what I did. There's a lot of folks that are from around here and from Georgia that are up there pursuing country music, and it's just it's a wild thing to chase, dude. There's so many different paths you can take to get there, but for me, um, to go to record country music in Nashville is something that I don't take lightly. So I really did a lot of preparing to get to that point. And I don't know if that answers your question, but yeah,
I think it's a
yeah,
start. So let me
yeah,
kind of like dig a little
yeah,
deeper. So
yeah.
for someone that I guess how important are the people that you know? So in
Yeah.
Nashville, did you meet someone that kind of like eventually led you down that path of recording that single, or was it
Yeah.
that a group of people? Do you need an
No,
agent? Do you need a like manager? What does that
no.
look like?
Excuse me. So, oh man, how did I get there? So, obviously I've been playing music for a long time. I've been doing it for, I don't know, 7, 8, 9 years, good little while. And, all roads with country music lead to Nashville. So I knew,
Mm,
all the people that could help me get better were located there. The pros, everybody
mhm,
that's doing it at a high level, you know, there's a few scattered around the country or whatever, but most of them, if they're pursuing music at a high level, they're in Nashville. And so I knew that that's where I wanted to go to kind of like take my career to the next level, as far as recording music. But yeah, I mean, there's some, I don't know, man. Like I network with a lot of local guys. Some that are from here, some that aren't, some that I may have met through social media. Maybe they're at the same stage of their career as I am, and I see who they're working with. Who are these
mhm,
guys going to get this product? How are they? How are they where they are? And there's no one-stop shop answer to get that. It
mhm,
takes time. It takes talk conversations like we're having right now with
mhm,
different people. Um, and you know, for me, I really listen to a lot of music, especially during this downtime with 2020. It's been a lot of time for me to do my homework and everything. So I researched, a lot of Nashville producers, and I really dug into just country music and how it's produced and all these things that people are doing to create the sound that I'm looking for. And
mm.
eventually, it led me through networking and all that research. It led me to Grady Saxman, which is who I recorded this latest single with, and who I will be recording with for the larger collection of songs that I'm gonna record soon. So
Well, I mean, you obviously have a great product out there right
yeah,
now. Tell me a little bit about kind of, I guess, how the single is doing.
yeah. So it's funny you asked. Today, I'm sitting at 10,000 streams on Spotify
Wow.
alone. So for me personally, that was a huge milestone, man. I mean, there's people out there with millions and millions of streams, but for me at this stage in my career, for this to be my second release, it's huge for me, dude. I
Mm,
mean, I pour a lot of heart and soul into what I do. I love it. I submerge myself in it every day. It's something that I'm constantly thinking about. Something that I really I want to share with other people, not because I don't want fame or fortune or anything. I just love country music. I love what it captures, what it does for me. I want to share that with people. For it to be streamed 10,000 times worldwide, uh, it's a feeling I can't quite describe. But it's crazy, dude. The other day I was on my Instagram, and this guy sent me a DM. He was from Finland. He was streaming my song in his car. I'm like, this is insane, dude. I've never been to Finland. I don't know a soul over there. Somehow, my music made its way across the world and a different country,
uh-huh.
and for for part of as an artist, to get a little bit of who you are and to share that with somebody that you don't know,
Oh, that's
especially
huge.
across
That's
the world,
everything.
it's the golden dream, man. It makes me feel like I've made it, even though I'm not charting on billboards or anything right now. I'm not selling out stadiums, but ultimately the goal of a true artist is to show people your art, and hopefully they appreciate it, and to have that happen, and especially over 10,000 times on anything, is really cool. So
Yeah,
yeah.
that's amazing. So for the Finland guide, I mean, did he kind of, I guess, let you know how he kind of found you, or?
Yeah. So the way streaming services work, there's a lot of algorithmic stuff going on there, and when
Mm,
you upload music to any streaming service, Spotify, Apple Music, all these things, a lot of times there's you put a little bit of information about who you are and what you sound like, what you think you sound like. So, say maybe my style is similar to Luke Combs or something like that, and
mm.
they listen to a lot of his music. Well, over time, his suggested music will kind of pop up with similar artists, and mine was one of those guys. So it was kind of cool, to see my music, being played in the same format as these other guys that everybody's listening to. So that
That's
was cool.
awesome.
Yeah, man.
Well, congratulations on that.
Dude,
I
thanks,
think
dude.
a lot of people see the successes of, larger names, and they don't realize how much it takes to get there, right? They don't see the blood, sweat, and tears. They don't
Nah.
see the challenges that everybody
Yeah.
faces, right?
Yeah.
And so, for me, I think that, what actually for you, what advice would you, I guess, give to people out there that are thinking, that have that dream of achieving something like that?
Well, first of all, make sure whatever you're doing, you're 100% invested in it. You love it. You have to have 110% of who you are in it. Your heart has to be in it, man. That's number one, because if that's where your heart is, you know, everything else that you do isn't going to be work. It's not going to be something that you dread doing. I
Mhm.
mean, there may be times, yeah, I don't really feel like making this Facebook post or this Instagram. There's times like that, but at the end of the day, you're sharing something that you love, so it's worth it, man. I mean, I love country music so much. There's not much that I wouldn't do to help, other people enjoy, So to me, to give somebody else the advice, make sure you love what you do, and don't be afraid of getting told no, because I'll tell
Mm.
you 100,000 times or more, doors have shut in my face. You never share those experiences with people, very much. But, um, if you love what you do, don't be afraid to go out there and pursue it and chase those dreams, dude, because, yeah, you're going to get the rejections. You're going to get, tough times kind of come. But if you're, really legitimate about, what you're doing, how you
Mhm.
feel about it, then those things won't matter, man. And that's kind of how I feel, man. Like, just last night I was watching a live stream event of Josh Turner, which is one of my biggest musical idols. Huge influence on me, and he was live streaming from the same stage I played from in Nashville when I went down there,
How'd I
dude.
feel?
Dude, it's insane, man. Like to
Mm.
just, I mean, I've never met him, but to stand in the same place he did and perform, like he did, it's just incredible, man. I mean, anybody that if you have some kind of influence or music or idol of any kind, to be associated with those kind of people that are doing it at such a high level, and to even just get a taste of it, it's just the most gratifying feeling ever, because it shows you're doing something right.
Mhm.
Like, there's just so much you know gratification, and all these things that I feel when those things happen. And they may not make headlines, they may not ever be um, the things that capture a billboard's attention or whatever, but to me, because my heart's so deeply, you know, thrust into this place of country music, it means so much, dude.
Mm.
And so I guess my piece of advice would be to make sure you love what you do, and to chase it 100%, and don't hold anything back. Just go for it,
Mhm.
100%. So.
Well, I mean, I get, you are so humble in what you're doing right now, and I think that that's amazing, right? A lot of times people get a little taste of it, and then just their
Yeah.
head blows up so big that they can't even, the room can't even contain
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
But I think that is amazing. Let's kind of like switch directions right quick.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about kind of, I guess, how you first got into music. How did that journey
Yeah.
first start?
Well, as a young kid, my parents listened to a lot of country music. I grew up in the '90s, and that was like one of the peaks of country music, man. There was so much just great music on the radio. It was great. And I grew up in that, and I listened to a lot of Alan Jackson and Garth Brooks and Tim McGraw. And, as a young kid, that's just what I did. Mm-hmm. And, over time, those songs, country music is such a great songwriter genre. Well, there's so many stories. There's so many experiences that you can learn from just listening to a song. And I just kind of I gravitated towards all that stuff. I mean, I spent hours listening to one of Tim McGraw's I had cassette tapes back then.
Okay.
I'm speaking my age a little bit, but I stick it in, I had like a tape player with these, cheap headphones, and I just listened to it, man. I'd flip the tape over and listen to it again, and just, I don't know, there's something about the genre that just captured me, man, and that's where I first fell in love with it, listening to those songs and finding, my life just related to them. Even as a young kid, you feel those things. And
so at this age, you were just listening,
yeah.
and then what happened? Yeah. So at some point, there must have been like either an instrument that was given to you, or like you just started actually singing. Like what did that look like?
Well, I guess the first thing, I grew up in a Southern Baptist church, and there's a lot of choir music. We sang hymns every Sunday. That was like my first ever experience singing, I guess. But when I turned 15, I asked my parents for a guitar for Christmas, and it was kind of funny. They thought I was, it was just something else. I was going to collect dust in my bedroom or something. But I was serious about it, man. I wanted to learn how to play, because I knew, like, I need something. I need an instrument, all these guys are playing it. That's how you get your start. You got to learn. So I got a guitar and pretty much taught myself how to play, and I'm definitely not the best guitar player. A lot of people that helped me out along the way. But
did you take lessons at all?
I did not. I mean, not formally, no. I didn't even have the internet. I grew up without internet, dude. Like, I had a book. I did. It's funny, man. I mean, I'm only 28, but
yeah, sure.
We lived out in the middle of nowhere. We didn't have all that technology, man.
Sure.
And my parents got me a self-learn book, whatever you want to call it, and I learned my major chords and learned how to keep in time, and I had a lot of mentors. A good friend of mine, Danny Ruiz, I ended up meeting. He's a seasoned veteran when it comes to country music. He used to tour around the country, and he went to the same church as me, and he was a great player, and I always looked up to him. He was an older dude with a lot of experience, man, and I went to his house, like, when I was, in high school and, my early, late teen years, I guess. Just went to his house and watched him play, just learned, did everything I could to, better myself by watching him and learn. He'd teach me some things, like, I'd go over to his house, we'd have dinner, and we'd just break out the guitars and sit in the back room, and he'd teach me how to play songs and teach me how to play in more of a band setting versus just by myself. Because you can, learning how to play music, you can do a lot of things wrong if you're by yourself. So
that's right.
You get in there, for me, I just knew he'd already been there. He'd done it. He was a session guitar player in Nashville for a long time. So I just got in there and as a young kid, just tried to get that experience and better myself in those kind of ways. But after that, my mom, I was probably around 19 or so. Still hadn't played out very much, but my mom gave me a paper. There was an article in the paper here in Statesboro for like a Statesboro's Got Talent, some kind of local fundraiser talent show that went down in town, and I was like, you know what? Let's just see where it goes.
Okay.
And I ended up, I had some song I'd written. It was bad. It was not I don't know. It was legitimate, but it
but it was your song.
It was my song.
Okay.
And I took it and did the talent show. Ended up placing runner up. So
wow.
That kind of gave me, I feel like, the boost of confidence that I needed to kind of go
some
forward.
Fuel, right?
Yeah. I mean,
so at this point, had you played in front of people before?
At church a little bit.
Okay.
But man, it was very limited. Like,
sure.
I wasn't in a praise band. Like, the church I went to, they had a piano and there was a little bit of guitar stuff, but more of choir, kind of stuff. But I hadn't played out much, man, and that was kind of my first time being on the. I thought I was you couldn't have told me I was just at a local auditorium. I prepared for it like I was going to be on the CMT Awards or something. It was
Love it.
yeah.
Love it. But
So I mean, I
that's
was
what it
planning my
takes.
outfit. I was planning everything.
This is what it takes, though. I mean, your
I was a
attention to
kid.
detail is
Yeah.
what makes it
Yeah.
happen, right?
Yeah. Right.
So there's nothing wrong with that at
Yeah.
all.
So, anyways, yeah. After that, I just kind of got some confidence. I started booking some local shows. My first gig ever was here in town at the 40 East Grill. If you ever been there,
Okay.
yeah, I got played for tips and free steak.
Uh-huh.
Did that a lot
A
because I
lot?
thought I was doing something, man.
Uh-huh.
I mean, it's great because I'm getting experience. People are I'm interacting with people.
Sure.
And, next thing you know, I'm booking shows all around town, making what I thought was good money. You know,
Okay.
I was a kid. You know,
Of
what I mean?
course.
So yeah, I'm learning songs. Like there'd be a popular song on the radio. I'm like, hey, go learn this song. Might make some good tips tonight. So
Sure.
I go learn it, and eventually just kind of started out there. It's, not much of a fancy story, but it's
No,
what
I
happened.
mean,
Yeah.
we all have to start somewhere.
Yeah.
One of the interesting parts, I don't know how much you know about this, but there's this concept called the 10,000 hour rule, right?
Yeah.
The Beatles actually played together just outside as a group together in front of people for a long period of time. That's why their stage performance was so good, is because they
Yeah.
were so like in
tight.
tune with each
Yeah.
other, and so being
It's
able to
awesome.
get that experience in front of people, I
Yeah.
think is so important. So
Yeah.
I'm glad that Statesboro was able to kind of like do that for
Oh
you.
yeah, they cultivated my music career. That's for sure. And I actually met my wife. We actually, that same church I was telling you about, we met there, and she
Okay.
plays violin.
Okay,
she
I did not know that.
Yeah, she's a dude. She's a way better musician than I am. She'll never admit it, but she is talented, dude.
Okay.
And she doesn't like the spotlight at all. She hates cameras and everything else, but
Uh-huh.
that's okay, man. Like she started playing a few shows out with me, and we were dating at the time, and I thought life was great, man. I got a girlfriend that plays gigs with me, man. This is awesome, man. It
yeah.
was cool, and so as my kind of music career moved forward, my relationship with her developed, and she really helped me kind of grow with everything. So that was cool.
Seems like music has had like a massive impact on all aspects of your life, from relationships to career to like all these different things. I
Yeah.
think it's huge. So you did mention right now that you actually work, like this is kind of like a part-time thing, or is this full-time?
I wish it was, man. That's my goal.
Okay.
Obviously, music at this level of my career doesn't provide enough money to live off of full
Sure.
time.
Mhm.
So I do work full time. I actually work here for Georgia Southern during the week. It's my normal daytime hours, but every minute that I'm not there, I'm in some way pursuing music. So it works out for me. I mean, I'm able to have a lot of time off and things that I'm very grateful for. My job allows me to be flexible with my schedule sometimes, and helps me get the most out of both worlds.
So what's on the agenda down the line for Clayton Hackle?
Yeah, well, as far as immediate future, I have a show in town tonight, so
Okay.
that's on my mind right now. I haven't played out live in over a year with my band. It's been
Okay.
that long. We took right before Christmas. We usually slow down with our gigs, and then COVID came. So got a show tonight here in town. It's a Halloween festival thing going on. Then next month, on November 21st, we have a Down on the Farm concert. It's a hometown kind of concert. It's going to be out in a wide open place in the middle of nowhere. Good country, get down.
Yeah.
Down on the farm concert.
Okay.
And
I've never been.
Yeah.
Describe those two. I've never been to one.
Well, when I was in high school, Luke Bryan, he had a farm tour they ran through
That's
Statesboro
right.
every year, and I went out there and, man, just saw that, and it's pretty much, imagine a wide open field with a huge stage with a big crowd of people, and they're all jamming out to their hits that are on the radio, and it's just fun, man. So I kind of like, I took that idea. Obviously, I'm not at a national scale, but we're making it really fun, dude. There's going to be a big stage. There's going to be lighting. There's going to be plenty of room to spread out, and bring your lawn chairs and bring your families and just come enjoy a safe, fun time out at the concert. And it's going to be fun. A lot of local acts are coming to open the show. We're going to have food trucks out there. We're going to have some vendors and things like that. It's almost kind of like a festival feel, but yeah, we're hosting it, man, out in Metter at Dutchford Farm, November 21st. It's going to be a great time. I get to perform my new single live for the first time in front of everybody. So, with 10,000 streams, a lot of those are local folks that are enjoying
sure.
the music. So I get to play that out in front of everybody, and that's something I've been looking forward to for a long time because I wanted to give back to my community in some kind of way, man, because I've been supported so much. This is something I've been working on really since the last local concert we did in Metter. I got so much support from that. It showed me how much they love what I do, and I really appreciate everybody there and here in Statesboro as well. It's been so supportive, man, and I just wanted to give back in some kind of way that'd be fun for everybody. So
That's right.
and really affordable too,
Mhm.
So hopefully people can come out and have a good time and enjoy the show. But as far as the future, that's going to kind of close the book on 2020. I've got a couple little things I can't quite share yet that we're planning on releasing here pretty soon.
Okay.
People are gonna like it, but
Okay.
and I've got more music I'm planning on recording very soon, and got a lot of fun things, man. Hopefully get some touring going on next year. I'm just kind of uncertain right now with everything, but hopefully live music will return in full swing pretty soon, and I'll get back out there and do what I love to do, man. I love performing so much. It's one of my other loves. I'm a big consumer of country music, but when you're able to take something that you love and perform it live for people, it adds another dimension
That's right.
to what I do, and that's I love writing songs and all that stuff, but performing it for people and seeing that interaction, coming from the person that created this musical content, and just seeing how that develops at a live show and that interaction is something you can't replicate. And I've been missing it big time, so
That's right.
looking forward to getting back out there.
I'm so excited to see kind of like where your career goes. I mean, obviously, I think that I have buy-in because I met you so early on, right?
Oh, you
And
man,
then
yeah.
it's been a great experience so far to see you kind of like grow into the different things that you're doing right now.
Yeah.
Clayton, thank you so much for spending some time with us. If there's a final statement that you like to either tell my audience or tell your audience, what would that be?
Well, first of all, thank y'all for listening, man. This is my first ever podcast, so
Yeah.
I'm honored to be here, man. I love podcasts. I've always wanted to be a part of one, so I'm glad
Okay.
you reached out, dude. I listen to a lot of them, a lot of different things I enjoy in life. I love sports and all kind of things. So I'm always listening to podcasts. But thank y'all for being here and listening. And if you enjoy country music and you want to hear some things that we've got going on, check out my artist profile on Spotify or Apple Music or YouTube. Pretty much anywhere you stream music, you can go find me. My name's Clayton Hackle, and I got a single out right now called Georgia Calls Me Home, and it's climbing up the charts, man. I'm excited.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Instagram.
Yeah, Clayton Hackle Music. I'm on Instagram, Facebook, Clayton Hackle Music, same thing. And follow me anywhere. I don't have a TikTok yet. I guess
Okay.
that's the hot ticket right
Might
now.
be the
but-
next might be the next step, right?
Yeah, I got to get trendy. But yeah, for sure.
All right. Well, Clayton, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for being part of the show, and then looking forward to seeing your career unveil.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
All right. Thank you.
Your mountains and your beaches, your sweet summer peaches, waves of cotton rolling in the breeze, taking pulls from a mason jar, passing round